So today we are going to understand what is Spring Initializer is. The URL for the Spring Initializer is start.spring.io. We have to visit this website to generate a new Spring Boot project, right? So I will simply fill all the details here. What I will do, I will select a Maven here. Project will be of Maven type. Then language will be of Java. Then Spring Boot will be 3.5.3. This is the stable version. Always select this whole number one. Okay. Now I will make my group anything like um, test project, right? Then this will be our artifact, which will be our main project name. So I will keep it, make it like we can go with anything. I will make it for books, right? Okay, I will create a book API today. Now packaging will be of jar type, and for this I am going to use three dependencies. First one will be web, which is Spring Web, right? Then second will I will use JPA repository, Spring Data JPA repository, right? It will provide us functions which are helpful in storing the data into the database. And the third one will be, and I will use the local memory database, which is H2. Then I will click add dependencies, and if you want you can add multiple more, but I need only these three right as of the moment for this project. So I will create generate. The file has been downloaded, and we are going to extract here. Now you can delete this zip file. We have this book. Inside it you can see all the files. Now go to any IDE. I will go to the IntelliJ IDEA. Then I will open that book project here. Open, and you can see all the files are already here. So this is the form.xml file. This is the very important file of any Spring Boot project. I will open it. So you can see that there is some code written. It is written in the XML language, right? And I can show you that I can show you that all the dependencies which we injected from there, I mean from Spring Initializer, are listed here. This is the first one, which is Spring Boot Starter Data JPA, Data JPA repository. This is Spring Boot Web repository dependency, and this is for the in-memory database dependency. And it has also provided one extra, which is for testing. So do one more file, which is in the resources folder, and this is the application.properties file. Here we have to provide the configuration for the database, and we can also provide configuration for the server port as well. So I have inserted all the necessary configuration lines. I will explain each one of them. So this is our application name, which will be book, right? Then this is with the database URL. You can see it is JDBC H2 memory database, and the name of the database is book database, bookdb. Then from where it is being accessed, the class name of that, so it is org.h2 driver. Then our username of the database is SA. Then password will be null. Then JPA repository setting. This will be Spring JPA Hibernate DDL auto update. What it does, it tells Hibernate, which is the JPA provider, right? It tells them to auto update whenever any modification is done into the entity class. I will explain a little later what is the entity class is. And the second line does Spring JPA shows SQL true. What it does, whenever we run any get or put methods into the browser, it shows the queries running into the SQL format into the console. Uh, when in IntelliJ, right? When we run the application, those queries will be shown into the console. Now, what is H2 console? This Spring H2 console enabled. This will Why I have written it here, because it will enable the H2 database console into the browser. Without this, the console will not be accessible. And the second line is path. Spring H2 console.path. It is the path which will be localhost colon 8080 forward slash H2 console. Before moving forward, I will simply create a REST controller to check whether our Spring Boot application is running properly or not. And I will simply print hello world on the local host, right? So first what I will go to the source, then main, then Java. All our classes will be in this package, right? They need to be in this package test project.book, because our book application, which is main application class, is in this package. If we put any file, any class or Java file outside of this project, the Spring Boot component scanner will not scan it, right? So always make sure you put all your Java files in this project first. So what I'll do, I'll simply create a home controller. Okay, home controller. Then I'll enter. It's a class. Number one, we have to use a REST controller annotation, right? REST controller. Then, since this is a home controller, right? So whenever someone visits our website or maybe the home page, a message should be sent to him. So I will use one more annotation, which is request mapping, right? It is used to map the URL for the whole class, right? Then double quotes forward slash home. That's it. I will not write anything else here, and I will simply create a method here, public. Sorry, string. Uh, Say hello. Okay, which will return a string. Return string. Sorry, hello world. That's it. And this method, I want it to be called at when we press the um, uh, localhost 8080. So it will be a get mapping, right? Sorry, get mapping. So simply do it for get mapping. And what I'll do, I will go back to my book application and run it and wait to let it build. So let me see if it runs successfully or not. Okay, our application has successfully run. You can see started book application in 16 seconds, right? Now I will go to my browser. Here we have to put local host colon 8080. That's it. And you can see it says hello world. That means our application is good and running. So we have to create an entity class which will be our inside this project, right? So I will create new Java class. It is the entity class. So I will simply name it book, right? I will use one annotation here, which is entity. So it will tell the this annotation will tell the Spring Boot, right, that this class will be our entity, our model in the database, right? Okay. Next, go inside. I will create one private integer ID, right, to have a unique ID for every book, and I will mark it as ID. Okay, this field is ID, and also its value will be auto generated. So I will use one more annotation, which is generated value, and the strategy for this annotation will be of identity. Okay, so these two annotations tell the Spring Boot that this ID will be unique for each book, and a value of this ID will be generated automatically, right? Then I will create one more field, which will be private string name, right? And private string author. Okay. Since these two methods, these three fields are private, that means this class can only use it. So we have to do, we have to create getters, public methods to access these fields. So simply see, this is getter for ID, setter for ID, getter for name, setter for name, and so on. See, now we have successfully created our entity class. Now we will create a JPA repository interface to access all the functions and also to interact with the SQL easily without writing any SQL queries. So what I'll do, I'll simply create one Java class. Actually, it will be an interface, right, which I will name book repository. Okay, so it's an interface. Here, simply, what we have to do nothing, just to extend to JPA repository, right? It is JPA repository, and it will not be of generic type. We have to use specifically book type repository, and the ID is of integer, right? Integer object. Don't use primitive data integer here, please, right? We have to use the integer object here. Now we are going to create the controller for our book entity. So I will create a new Java class named as book con controller. I will mark it as a REST controller with REST controller annotation. Also, I will provide the request mapping for the whole class for the book URL. Okay, we have to create, since we have to create, I will create only two methods here. One will be for post mapping to create a book, and the second one will be for showing all the books. And since we are going to use the in-memory database, so I will need to use the repository which we created earlier, right? We extended this book repository from the JPA repository, right? So I will go to back to my controller. I will use one annotation which is auto wired, then private, a private field, then book repository. Okay, what this annotation has done, it automatically injected the dependency for the book repository here. So I can use this repository reference very easily in my controller now. I will create one method which will be to create uh, a book into the database. It will be post mapping, public method, and it will be of book. It will return the book object. Okay, so add book here, and we have to take the data, right? Data for these two, for the name and for the author, and this data will come in the form of JSON from the browser or from the Postman. So I will go back to my book controller. I will use one more annotation, which is request body, then the data will be of book type. It will be stored in book, okay, and I will return. I can use the repository here, repository reference. Then I will use the function save. Okay, here I will pass the book. So what this method will do when we run the post method into the API, right? It will call this method, and the data will be provided in the JSON form into this book object, and this book object will get saved into the database using the repository reference, and this save method is provided by the JPA repository. Okay, we have saved the book. Now we will show it. So I will use another notation, which is get mapping. Below it I will simply create another method which will return a list of books, right? So list of book type, then show all books. This method simply returns the a list of the books, and I will use the repository reference here. Then I will use the method find all. Okay, it will return the list of the books. So whenever we run the get method under the book URL, it will come to here, and this method will be called, and it will find all the books and return it in a list, okay, which will be of book type. So we have successfully created our REST controller. Now I will try to run it. I will go to book application, our main class, and run it. It is building it. The project is been built, and let me see if the Spring our application runs successfully. Okay, our application started successfully. Now I will go to my browser, our Postman. Okay, so I am in the Postman app. Now I will put the local host colon 8080 forward slash. I will run the get method. You can see it has provided us the hello world, because what it has done, I will show you. It has simply ran the home controller, because it has simply ran the home controller because we provided in the URL a forward slash. To access the book controller, we need to provide the forward slash book. Again, I Postman and run the get method for book. Let me see what it's provided. Null, because we did not add any books yet. Okay, so to add the books, we have to provide the we have to run first post method under the book. Then in the body we have to provide raw JSON data. Okay, so the data will be like this. Here first was name. So name, I'm sorry, name, it will be show, no, the book name will be anything Harry Potter, right? Then the author name will be author, right? It will be J.K. Rowling. Now we will run the post method here. See, it has provided us the book object with ID generated automatically as 1. Okay, again I will modify it. I will add one more book, and here I will do J.R.R. Tolkien and send ID 2, right? It has successfully saved it. Now I will again, if I run the get method now, it will provide me the list of the books. Yes, you can see 2 books have been saved. two books have been saved with ID one Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling, number two Lord of the Rings and J.R.R. Tolkien. That means our application and our REST API is working successfully with these two mappings only, a post mapping and the put mapping.